Hello, boys and girls. Today we're going to read Mrs. Pickle Wiggles Doesn't Take a Bath. I'm not going to talk that much today, so I'm going to let my mom continue reading. Now, I point at you when it's your turn to read. Actually, you point at me when it's your turn to read.
I'll just read it, okay? Mrs. Piggle Wiggle lives here in our town. She has brown sparkly eyes and long brown hair, which usually she wears in a knot on top of her head. She has a dog called Wag and a cat called Lightfoot, and she lives in an upside-down house. All the children love Mrs. Piggle Wiggle, and Mrs. Piggle Wiggle loves them. She is always ready to stop whatever she is doing and have a tea party, and she is glad to have children dig worms in her petunia bed. In fact, Mrs. Piggle Wiggle just naturally understands children, which is of course why all the parents called Mrs. Piggle Wiggle whenever their children are being difficult. Mrs. Piggle Wiggle will always know exactly what to do to help cure children's bad habits, like not taking a bath, which was Patsy Brown's bad habit. Up to the time of this story, Patsy was just an everyday little girl. But one morning, Patsy's mother filled the bathtub with nice warm water and called to Patsy to come take her bath. But when Patsy saw the nice warm tub of water, she began to scream and yell and kick and howl, like a wild animal. Naturally, her mother was quite surprised to see her little girl acting so peculiarly, but she just said, "Now, Patsy, stop all this nonsense and hop into the bathtub." Patsy ran from the bathroom yelling, "I won't take a bath. I won't take a bath. I hate baths. I hate baths." Patsy's mother let the water out of the tub and she went downstairs to the telephone, Mrs. Piggle Wiggle. She said, "Hello, Mrs. Piggle Wiggle. This is Patsy's mother, and I am having such a time this morning. Patsy simply will not take a bath." Mrs. Piggle Wiggle said, I would say the radish cure is probably the quickest and most lasting. All you have to do is buy 1 package of radish seeds. Then let Patsy alone as far as washing is concerned. Then she has about ½ an inch of rich dirt all over her. Scatter radish seeds on her arms and head. Press them in gently, and then just wait. The next morning, Patsy's mother didn't say one single word to her about taking a bath. So Patsy was sweet and didn't act like a wild animal. The next day was the same, and so was the next. When Sunday came, Patsy was a rather dark blackish gray color, so her mother suggested that she stay home from Sunday school. At the end of the 3rd week, Patsy skipped out to get the mail, and the postman, on seeing her straggly, uncombed, and dust-caked hair and the layer of dirt on her face, neck, and arms, gave a terrified yell and fell off the porch. Patsy's parents decided to keep Patsy indoors all the time after that, but Patsy seemed quite happy. Of course, it was getting hard to tell how she felt as her face was so caked with dirt that she couldn't smile, and she talked. "Oik is, I am Atsy, and I won't take a bath." She also had to take little teeny bites of food because she couldn't open her mouth more than a crack. At last, the day came when Patsy was ready to plant. That night when she was asleep, her mother and father tiptoed into her room and very gently pressed radish seeds into the dirt on her forehead, her arms, and the backs of her hands. Some days later, Patsy woke up in the morning, and there on the backs of her hands and on her arms and on her forehead were green leaves. She jumped out of bed and ran down the stairs to the dining room, where her mother and her father were eating breakfast. Okay, ye hands," she screamed. Her mother went over to Patsy, took a firm hold of one of the plants on her forehead, and gave it a quick pull. Patsy squeaked again, and her mother showed her a little red radish she had pulled. Patsy suddenly said, "Other, I want a bath." "What did you say, dear?" asked her mother, busily pulling the radishes and putting them in a neat little pile on the dining room table. "I want a bath," said Patsy so plainly that it cracked the mud on her left cheek. Patsy's mother said, "I think it had better be a shower," and without another word, she went upstairs and turned on the warm water. Patsy was in the shower all day. She used up 2 whole bars of soap, and she didn't even come out for lunch. But when her father came home for dinner, there she was, waiting for him at the door. Clean and smiling, in her hand she had a plate of little red radishes.
So that was Patsy not taking a bath. But Mrs. Piggle Wiggle is right. I'm going to talk more, okay? Don't do it. I'm going to talk a little more than usual. So
Well, it's time to go because we got to go to bed. Say goodnight.
Good night. I'm going to bed once I get to my house.